The control room of the NASA Deep Space Analysis Center was unusually silent. No coffee jokes, no arguments, no keyboards clacking like machine gun fire. Only the faint hum of servers and the cold blue glow of giant monitors illuminated the faces of the scientists staring at a single impossible image sent by the James Webb Space Telescope. Dr. Elias Carter adjusted his glasses with trembling fingers. "That distance reading has to be wrong," he whispered. Nobody answered, because everyone in the room already knew the terrifying truth. The numbers had been verified 7 times. The object they were looking at should not exist. According to modern cosmology, the universe began 13.8 billion years ago in a violent explosion known as the Big Bang. Every galaxy, every star, every atom came after that moment. But the newly discovered structure floating in the darkness of deep space appeared older. Not slightly older. Millions of years older than the birth of the universe itself. Which meant only one thing. Everything humanity believed about reality could be wrong. A young astrophysicist named Lena Brooks slowly leaned toward her monitor. The signal displayed strange symmetrical patterns, patterns too organized to be natural cosmic radiation. "These formations," she said carefully, "they look engineered." The room instantly turned toward her. "Engineered?" Another scientist laughed nervously. "You're suggesting alien megastructures older than the universe?" "I'm suggesting," Lena replied, eyes locked on the screen, "that we stop assuming we understand time." A dangerous silence followed. On the central display, the impossible object rotated slowly in reconstructed 3D imagery. It resembled a colossal black sphere surrounded by rings of dim crimson light. Around it floated dead galaxies like dust around an ancient machine. The telescope had detected no star formation nearby, no heat signature, no normal gravitational behavior, and most disturbing of all, the object appeared to absorb light itself. Not reflect it, not bend it, consume it. Dr. Carter's smartwatch vibrated. A classified message from Washington appeared on the screen. Priority directive. Do not release findings publicly until verification is complete. He exhaled sharply. Too late. Someone already had. Across the internet, leaked web images spread like wildfire. Within hours, hashtags exploded worldwide. Hashtag universe before Big Bang. Hashtag web discovery. Hashtag the first civilization. News channels interrupted regular programming. Religious leaders called emergency gatherings. Stock markets began crashing in multiple countries as panic spread. For centuries, humanity believed it was witnessing the beginning of existence. But what if the Big Bang wasn't the beginning? What if it was the end of something else? Thousands of miles away, in an underground observatory beneath the ice of Antarctica, an ancient quantum receiver suddenly activated on its own for the first time in 42 years. Technician Marcus Vail stared at the blinking console. "No," he whispered. The machine emitted a low mechanical pulse. Then another. Then a voice emerged from the speakers. Distorted, ancient, non-human. "The gate is open." Every monitor in the facility instantly turned black. One sentence appeared in glowing white symbols. "They have seen the first world." Marcus stumbled backward in horror, because those exact symbols had been discovered before. Hidden inside a classified archaeological site in Iraq in 1998. A site so disturbing that every scientist involved either disappeared or died. Back inside NASA headquarters, Lena enlarged the mysterious sphere again. Then she noticed something that made her blood freeze. A surface marking. Not random. Not natural. A symbol. 3 interlocked circles surrounding a dark center. The same symbol now appearing in Antarctica. And before anyone could react, the Webb telescope feed suddenly cut out. Every screen went dark. Then one final transmission appeared across the control room monitors. "You were never the first civilization." And beneath it, a countdown had begun. The countdown spread across the world in less than an hour. Every hacked screen, every satellite broadcast, every military network, every smartphone, the same black background, the same white symbols. and the same terrifying timer ticking down second by second. 71 hours, 12 minutes, and 9 seconds. Nobody knew who controlled it. Not NASA. Not the Pentagon. Not the world's most powerful hackers. The signal seemed to exist everywhere at once, as if reality itself had become infected. Cities descended into panic. In New York City, crowds gathered in Times Square staring at giant digital billboards. In Tokyo, subway systems shut down after passengers refused to board trains. Religious leaders across the globe declared the message either a warning from God or the arrival of something ancient and evil. But inside a hidden underground facility beneath Greenland's ice sheet, a different truth was emerging. Dr. Elias Carter and Lena Brooks had been flown there under military escort only 6 hours after the Webb leak. The base officially didn't exist. No flags, no insignias, only steel corridors buried beneath miles of frozen darkness. At the center of the facility stood a circular chamber containing a massive black object covered in dust. Lena stopped breathing the moment she saw it. It was the same symbol. 3 interlocked circles surrounding a dark center. "You found this before the telescope discovery?" she asked quietly. A gray-haired military official nodded. 28 years ago. Dr. Carter frowned. "Where?" The officer hesitated, then answered with one word. "Mesopotamia." Lena's eyes widened. Ancient Mesopotamia, often called the cradle of human civilization, contained some of the oldest known cities in history. But according to classified reports, archaeologists excavating a buried temple in Iraq in 1998 uncovered something impossible beneath the ruins. Not bones, not artifacts, technology, advanced technology, thousands of years older than humanity itself. The officer activated a holographic display. Ancient photographs appeared above the table. Broken metallic walls, unknown symbols, skeletons fused into stone. And at the center of the underground chamber, a giant doorway-like structure made from a material scientists still couldn't identify. "No corrosion," the officer explained. "No radiation decay. The material appears untouched by time itself." Dr. Carter studied the images carefully. "This can't be real." "Oh, it's real," the officer replied grimly. "And it gets worse." Another image appeared. This one showed a carved stone tablet covered in strange writing. The symbols matched the message now spreading across Earth. Lena stepped closer. "What does it say?" The room fell silent. Then the officer answered. "It translates to, 'The first civilization died before your universe was born.'" Nobody spoke for several seconds, because the implication was horrifying. If the translation was accurate, then intelligent life existed before the Big Bang itself. Before space, before time, before reality. "That's impossible," Carter muttered. "Not according to Webb." The hologram shifted again, revealing the mysterious dark sphere detected in deep space. Military analysts had reconstructed more of the object using hidden telescope data. The closer they looked, the stranger it became. The sphere wasn't drifting randomly. It was moving, slowly, directly toward the Milky Way. Lena suddenly noticed faint structures orbiting it. Ships, thousands of them, dead, frozen in darkness like a graveyard surrounding an ancient king. A scientist nearby whispered nervously, "What if they weren't destroyed?" Nobody answered. Then alarms exploded throughout the facility. Red emergency lights flooded the chamber. An operator shouted from the control station, "Sir, we just received a signal from the object." "Audio?" "Yes. Play it." The speakers crackled violently. Static screamed through the room. Then a deep mechanical voice emerged. Cold, ancient, immense. "Children of the second universe." Every person in the chamber froze. "You have awakened what remained buried." The holographic image suddenly changed on its own. A map of Earth appeared. Bright red points flashed across the planet. Hundreds of them, then thousands. Lena's blood turned cold. "Their locations," she whispered. "Locations of what?" Carter asked. Before anyone could answer, the voice spoke again. "The gates are opening." At that exact moment, Earthquakes erupted worldwide. In Peru, an ancient mountain split apart, revealing metallic structures beneath stone. In Siberia, black towers emerged from frozen ground. And deep beneath the sands of Egypt, something colossal began to rise. Then the countdown abruptly accelerated. 47 hours, 3 minutes, and 11 seconds. Humanity had just lost nearly an entire day. And somewhere beyond the stars, something older than the universe was coming back to life. The first pyramid collapsed at exactly 2:14 a.m. Not from erosion, not from an earthquake, from underneath. Millions watched live broadcasts from Great Pyramid of Giza as the desert floor exploded upward in a storm of sand and fire. Military helicopters circled above the ancient site while terrified reporters screamed into cameras. Then the ground opened. A gigantic black structure slowly emerged from beneath the pyramid ruins. Smooth, perfect, impossible. It towered over the desert like a machine built by gods long before human history began. And carved across its surface was the same symbol now haunting the planet. 3 interlocked circles surrounding darkness. Across Earth, identical events unfolded simultaneously. In Siberia, frozen mountains cracked open to reveal metallic towers buried beneath ice older than recorded civilization. In the Amazon rainforest, enormous circular doors activated beneath jungle temples. Under the Pacific Ocean, entire sections of seabed began glowing crimson deep below the water. The countdown continued falling faster. 39 hours, 41 minutes, and 55 seconds. Inside the Greenland facility, panic spread through military command centers. Satellite feeds covered every wall. Governments were collapsing under fear. Entire cities had begun evacuating. Dr. Elias Carter stood motionless watching footage from Egypt. "That structure," he whispered. "It's identical to the object Webb discovered." Lena Brooks zoomed into the live satellite imagery. She noticed something terrifying. The black tower emerging from Giza wasn't rising randomly. It was aligning itself, pointing upward toward a specific location in space, toward the approaching dark sphere. "Oh my God," she said softly. "They're connected." Before Carter could respond, a technician shouted from the communications station, "We intercepted another transmission." The room instantly fell silent. "Source, not from Earth." The speakers activated. Static filled the chamber. Then came the same ancient mechanical voice. But this time, it sounded closer. "The first civilization returns." The screens flickered violently. Suddenly, unfamiliar star systems appeared across the monitors. Giant structures floated in darkness around dying suns. Endless fleets drifted through space like abandoned tombs. And then they saw them. Beings. Tall, thin, black silhouettes standing inside enormous halls illuminated by crimson light. Their faces were hidden beneath smooth metallic masks. Their eyes glowed white. Not human. Not alive. Something worse. The voice continued. "We were born before time." Images flashed rapidly. A universe collapsing into fire. Galaxies tearing apart. Stars dying by the billions. Then, darkness. Absolute darkness. When the first universe died, we survived. Lena's breathing became uneven. The transmission wasn't random. It was history. A record. A warning. The beings on screen stood before a colossal machine suspended in space. A machine larger than planets themselves. At its center burned a sphere of pure black energy. Dr. Carter stared in horror. "That's impossible." The machine resembled theoretical models of a universe generator, an idea once dismissed as science fiction. The voice spoke again. "Your universe was created from our ruin." Silence consumed the chamber. Every scientist understood the implication immediately. The Big Bang may not have been a natural event. It may have been engineered, an experiment, or worse, an escape plan. Suddenly, another alarm erupted. "Sir!" an operator shouted. Massive energy surge detected beneath Cairo. The satellite feed zoomed toward Egypt again. The black structure had fully emerged now. And at its center, a gigantic circular doorway was beginning to glow. Crimson light pulsed through ancient symbols carved into the metal. Then the doorway opened. Not mechanically, spatially. Reality itself bent inward like liquid glass. And something moved inside the portal. The entire room froze. A shape slowly stepped forward through the red light. Tall, humanoid, wrapped in dark metallic armor unlike anything on Earth. Its glowing white eyes scanned the desert silently. One Egyptian soldier raised his rifle with shaking hands. The being looked toward him. The soldier instantly collapsed, dead before hitting the sand. No gunfire, no visible attack, just death. People worldwide watched the live broadcast in horror. The figure turned toward the cameras, then spoke in perfect English. Your species was never meant to survive the second universe. Transmission feeds across the globe abruptly failed. One by one, satellite systems disappeared. Power grids collapsed. Internet networks crashed. Darkness spread city by city across Earth. And above the planet, astronomers made an even worse discovery. The giant sphere detected by the James Webb Space Telescope was no longer moving slowly. It had accelerated toward Earth at impossible speed. Estimated arrival, 18 hours. Darkness swallowed half the planet before sunrise. Entire continents vanished from satellite communication. Airports shut down. Naval fleets disappeared from radar. Military leaders across the world issued emergency martial law declarations as panic turned into chaos. In London, people flooded underground stations carrying food, water, and weapons. In Karachi, streets became packed with terrified crowds staring upward at giant screens broadcasting emergency alerts. In Los Angeles, highways became endless lines of abandoned vehicles stretching for miles. But none of it mattered anymore, because humanity was no longer alone. The armored being that emerged in Egypt had disappeared after killing 12 soldiers without touching them. Every attempt to track it failed. Heat sensors couldn't detect it. Drones malfunctioned near it. Even cameras distorted in its presence. It was as if reality itself rejected the creature. Inside the Greenland facility, Dr. Elias Carter and Lena Brooks stood before a massive holographic projection of Earth. Bright red zones blinked across the globe. Every red zone marked an activated gate, and the number was increasing rapidly. 73 gates active, an operator reported nervously. Another 19 awakening. Carter clenched his fists. Can we shut them down? No known weapon affects the structures. Another scientist interrupted. Sir, you need to see this. The main screen shifted to live footage captured by a surviving military drone above Egypt. The black armored being stood motionless beside the gigantic gate beneath Giza. But now it wasn't alone. More figures were emerging, one after another, silent, identical, an army from before the birth of time. Then something moved behind them inside the glowing portal. Something enormous. The drone camera trembled violently as a colossal shape slowly approached from within the crimson light. It was too massive to fully fit through the opening. Only part of its face became visible. A gigantic metallic eye, watching Earth. The drone feed instantly died. Silence filled the command room. Then Lena spoke quietly. They're scouting. Nobody wanted to ask what came next. At that exact moment, every remaining television, phone, and computer screen across Earth activated simultaneously. The armored being appeared live worldwide, standing alone against the desert storm. Its glowing eyes stared directly into the camera, into humanity itself. I am Archon. Its voice was deep and mechanical, echoing unnaturally through every speaker on Earth. Last commander of the first civilization. Millions watched in frozen silence. Archon slowly raised one armored hand. Behind him, the massive gate illuminated the night sky like a wound in reality. Your universe was built from our death. Images suddenly appeared beside him. Galaxies collapsing, worlds burning, civilizations erased in cosmic fire. The first universe ended when entropy consumed all existence. Stars died. Time itself decayed. The images shifted again. Gigantic machines surrounding a dying cosmos. We created the second universe to survive extinction. Dr. Carter's face turned pale. They caused the Big Bang. Lena whispered. Not caused it. Engineered it. Archon continued. But survival required sacrifice. The images became worse. Entire species being pulled into gigantic black machines. Planets drained of energy. Civilizations screaming as reality collapsed around them. To create your universe, ours was destroyed. Across Earth, horrified viewers realized the truth. The Big Bang wasn't the birth of everything. It was the corpse of another universe transformed into this one. And the beings who created it had returned. Archon's glowing eyes brightened. For billions of years we slept beneath your worlds waiting for the second universe to mature. The gates behind him pulsed violently. Now, it is time to reclaim what belongs to us. Military channels exploded with emergency chatter. Because deep space observatories had just confirmed something impossible. The giant sphere approaching Earth had changed shape. It was opening, like a flower made of darkness. And hidden inside it was a structure the size of a moon, ancient, black, covered in millions of glowing white lights. A city, no, a ship, the largest object humanity had ever seen. Estimated arrival time, updated across command screens worldwide, 7 hours. Panic became uncontrollable. Governments ordered nuclear readiness. Religious groups declared the end of humanity. Looting and riots erupted globally. But inside the Greenland base, Lena noticed something strange buried inside the ancient transmission data recovered from Mesopotamia. A repeating sequence hidden beneath the symbols. Coordinates. Not in space. On Earth. A location beneath Antarctica. Marcus Vale, the technician from the Antarctic Observatory, suddenly appeared on the emergency video channel, blood running down his face. They're already here, he whispered. The lights behind him flickered violently. Something metallic moved in the darkness beyond the corridor. Marcus looked terrified. There's another gate under the ice, and it's opening from the inside. A deafening scream echoed behind him. The video feed distorted. Then, before the transmission died completely, everyone saw a gigantic white eye opening in the darkness behind Marcus. Watching them, the transmission from Antarctica ended in static. No body, no final message. Only the image of that enormous white eye staring through the darkness before the feed died forever. Inside the Greenland command facility, nobody spoke. The silence felt heavier than fear itself. Then Dr. Elias Carter turned toward Lena Brooks. We're going to Antarctica. Several military officers immediately protested. That facility is compromised. We've lost all contact. It could already be overrun. Lena interrupted them coldly. If the coordinates hidden in the Mesopotamian data lead there, then whatever's beneath the ice is important. Carter nodded. Maybe important enough to stop them. Nobody truly believed that, but it was the only hope humanity had left. Outside, the world continued collapsing. In Paris, the Eiffel Tower district burned after riots erupted overnight. In Moscow, military convoys sealed entire sections of the city underground. In Beijing, emergency broadcasts ordered citizens to remain indoors as unidentified objects appeared above the atmosphere. And above Earth itself, the giant black structure from deep space continued approaching. Larger now, visible through powerful telescopes as a moving wound against the stars. The object no longer resembled a sphere. Its outer shell had fully unfolded into gigantic ring-like layers rotating around a central abyss of darkness. Scientists around the world began calling it only one thing: the Ark. Within hours, Carter, Lena, and a small armed team boarded a classified hypersonic aircraft headed toward Antarctica. The flight crossed endless frozen darkness beneath violent storms. Lightning flashed across black clouds while strange electromagnetic interference repeatedly disrupted the aircraft systems. Halfway through the flight, one of the pilots spoke nervously. "Sir, we're picking up structures below the ice." "What kind of structures?" The pilot swallowed hard. "Cities." The cabin fell silent. Satellite scans appeared on the screen. Beneath miles of Antarctic ice existed enormous geometric formations stretching for hundreds of kilometers underground. Perfect grids, gigantic towers, ancient roads, an entire civilization buried beneath the frozen continent. Lena stared at the scans in disbelief. No human civilization could survive there. Carter answered quietly. Maybe it wasn't human. When they finally reached the observatory, the scene looked like a battlefield. Massive steel doors had been ripped apart from the inside. Snow around the station was stained black. Not with oil, but with something thicker, something organic. The team entered cautiously with rifles raised. Emergency lights flickered red through the corridors. Bodies lay everywhere. Scientists, soldiers, technicians. None showed visible injuries, but every corpse wore the same expression: absolute terror. One soldier whispered shakily, "What the hell happened here?" Nobody answered. Then they heard it. A low metallic sound echoing deep below the station, like gigantic machines awakening after billions of years. The group followed the sound downward through frozen tunnels until they reached a massive circular vault door standing partially open. Ancient symbols covered its surface. 3 interlocked circles surrounding darkness. Lena touched the metal carefully. It was warm. The vault beyond was enormous, larger than the entire station above. And at its center stood something impossible. A city, not ruins. An intact underground city buried beneath Antarctic ice. Gigantic black towers stretched upward into darkness beyond visibility. Rivers of glowing red energy flowed through metallic streets. Strange symbols illuminated structures built on a scale meant for beings far taller than humans. The team moved forward silently. Every footstep echoed endlessly. Then Carter noticed giant statues lining the avenue ahead. The statues depicted the same masked beings from the transmissions. But beneath each statue were smaller figures. Humans, kneeling. Lena's voice trembled. They were here before us. A deep mechanical sound suddenly echoed through the city. Then another. The red energy flowing beneath the streets brightened. Systems were activating. Ancient machines awakening. Suddenly, the walls around them illuminated with holographic projections. Scenes from another universe appeared. Not Earth's universe. The first universe. Towering alien cities orbiting dead stars. Gigantic wars across galaxies. Entire planets consumed by darkness. And finally, a catastrophic collapse of reality itself. The holograms showed the first civilization desperately constructing colossal machines around a dying cosmos. One machine stood larger than all the others. The Ark. Lena realized the horrifying truth instantly. The Ark isn't a ship. Carter looked toward her slowly. It's a survival system. The hologram changed again. Billions of beings entering the Ark as the first universe collapsed into oblivion. Then came the final image. A newborn universe exploding into existence. The Big Bang. Humanity's universe. Created from the death of another. Suddenly, alarms erupted throughout the underground city. Ancient symbols flashed crimson across every tower. Then a voice echoed through the darkness. Not from speakers. From the city itself. Biological descendants detected. The team froze. Genetic compatibility confirmed. Lena's blood ran cold. What does that mean? Before anyone could answer, the floor beneath them began trembling violently. And deep below the city, something gigantic started moving. The underground city shook like a living organism awakening from a billion-year sleep. Massive vibrations thundered beneath the metallic streets, while crimson light surged through ancient structures across the Antarctic abyss. The soldiers raised their weapons instinctively. But against whatever existed below them, rifles felt meaningless. Then the voice returned. Cold, mechanical, ancient beyond imagination. Genetic lineage verified. Lena Brooks stared into the darkness ahead. Lineage? She whispered. Dr. Elias Carter slowly turned toward the holographic walls displaying the history of the first civilization. And then he saw it. One of the figures shown inside the Ark removed its metallic mask. The room fell silent, because underneath the mask, It looked human. Not exactly, but close enough to freeze everyone in terror. 2 eyes, a mouth, a face built from the same biological architecture as humanity. Different proportions. Pale skin, black veins beneath the surface, but undeniably connected. No, Carter whispered. The holograms shifted rapidly again. The final survivors of the first civilization stood inside colossal laboratories aboard the Ark while their universe collapsed outside. They were dying. Their species had become sterile after surviving billions of years in a decaying cosmos. Extinction was inevitable, so they created something new. The images revealed genetic experiments, DNA reconstruction, artificial evolution programs. And at the center of it all, Earth. Lena stepped backward slowly. Oh my God! Humanity was not an accident. Not a natural evolution. Not independent life. Humans had been engineered. Created from the genetic remnants of the first civilization after the birth of the second universe. A replacement species. A continuation. The voice echoed again. Humanity was designed to prepare this universe. One soldier shouted angrily, "Prepare it for what?" The city answered instantly, "The return." Suddenly, gigantic holographic star maps illuminated across the underground chamber. Billions of stars appeared. Then most of them turned red. Dead. Consumed. The voice continued, "The second universe is failing." Carter's face went pale. What? The hologram zoomed outward beyond galaxies themselves. Dark fractures spread across the fabric of space like cracks in glass. The entropic decay has begun. Lena understood immediately. Entropy. The same unstoppable cosmic death that destroyed the first universe. The process had started again. And according to the data flooding the holograms, it was accelerating. "Our universe is dying," she whispered. The city responded. "All universes die." Another projection appeared. This one showed the Ark near the center of a gigantic machine hidden beyond observable space. A machine larger than galaxies. A machine designed for one purpose: universe creation. The truth hit Carter like a nightmare. They're going to do it again. The hologram confirmed it. The third universe must be created. Every member of the team froze, because they finally understood humanity's purpose. Earth wasn't the center of an invasion. It was raw material. Just as the first civilization sacrificed their own universe to create this one, humanity's universe would now be sacrificed to create the next. A chain without end. Universe after universe feeding the birth of another. And billions of lives erased each time. One horrified soldier backed away. "You're saying they'll destroy everything?" The answer came immediately. Survival requires sacrifice. At that exact moment, emergency signals erupted across the team's communication systems. A surviving military satellite transmitted live orbital footage. Everyone looked upward at the projection and stopped breathing. The Ark had arrived. It filled space above Earth like an artificial moon made of darkness and crimson light. Compared to it, human cities were microscopic. Gigantic ring structures rotated slowly around its central abyss, while millions of glowing white lights illuminated its surface like stars trapped inside metal. Then smaller objects began emerging from it. Thousands. No, millions. Ships, ancient fleets descending toward Earth's atmosphere. Across the planet, people watched the sky ignite with falling crimson lights. Humanity's final night had begun. Inside the Antarctic city, another section of the floor suddenly opened beneath the team. A colossal chamber revealed itself below, and something stood at its center. A throne. Black metallic cables stretched from the throne into the walls like veins connected to the entire city. Seated upon it was a massive figure covered in ancient armor. Motionless, dormant, but alive. Its size dwarfed every being humanity had seen so far. A crown-like structure surrounded its head. The voice spoke again. "The Creator sleeps." Lena felt terror crawl through her body. "That's not Archon." "No," Carter whispered. "It's something higher." Suddenly, the giant figure's eyes opened. Pure white light exploded across the chamber. Then every screen, every hologram, every machine in the city displayed the same message. The third universe will begin in 3 hours. The countdown echoed across Earth like a death sentence. 2 hours, 59 minutes, and 41 seconds. In every language, on every surviving screen, projected across clouds by failing satellites, humanity finally understood the truth. This was not an invasion. It was a harvest. Above Earth, the colossal arc blocked entire constellations from view. Its rotating black rings stretched across orbit like artificial eclipses while millions of ancient ships descended through the atmosphere. Cities burned beneath crimson skies. Military forces launched everything they had. Missiles, fighter jets, orbital weapons, nuclear arsenals. None of it mattered. Human weapons simply vanished before reaching the descending fleets, disintegrated by invisible fields surrounding the alien craft. In Washington, D.C., emergency bunkers sealed beneath the White House. In Dubai, skyscrapers went dark as power systems collapsed entirely. In Delhi, millions flooded temples and streets praying beneath the burning sky. And beneath Antarctica, the Creator had awakened. The gigantic armored figure slowly rose from its throne. Metallic cables detached from its body one by one with deep mechanical sounds that echoed through the endless underground city. Every step it took caused the chamber to tremble. Lena Brooks couldn't breathe. The being stood nearly 20 feet tall, covered in black armor etched with glowing white symbols that seemed to move like living equations across its surface. Its face remained hidden behind a smooth metallic mask. But its eyes, those eyes contained something terrifying. Not anger, not hatred, something older. The exhaustion of a being that had watched universes die. The Creator looked toward the humans silently. Then the city itself began speaking through its voice. The descendants have survived beyond expectation. Dr. Elias Carter stepped forward despite the soldiers shouting for him to stop. You created us. The Creator tilted its head slightly. We preserved what remained of our species. You turned humanity into a backup plan. Correction. The glowing eyes intensified. You were an evolution. The holographic walls illuminated once more. Images appeared showing early Earth billions of years ago. The first civilization had seeded the planet with modified genetic material after the birth of the second universe. Then they waited, watching humanity evolve naturally over millions of years. Wars, empires, civilizations rising and collapsing. Every moment observed. Every stage guided invisibly from beneath Earth. Lena stared at the projections in horror. All religions, all ancient myths, distorted memories of our arrival. The pyramids, ancient gods descending from the sky, stories of creators teaching humanity civilization. It had all been real, but humanity misunderstood what the gods truly were. The Creator moved closer. Your species exceeded its design. Carter frowned. What does that mean? Another hologram appeared. Human achievements flashed rapidly. Art, music, sacrifice, love, families, acts of compassion during war and disaster. The Creator observed them silently, then spoke words no one expected. You developed something we lost. The chamber fell silent. Lena whispered carefully, What did we develop? The Creator answered, Hope. For the first time, the ancient being's voice sounded uncertain. We survived the death of the first universe through logic alone. We abandoned emotion to preserve existence. The holograms showed the first civilization gradually transforming themselves into cold machine-like entities over billions of years. They became immortal, but empty. You remained imperfect. Images of humans helping one another during the ongoing global catastrophe filled the walls. Parents shielding children. Strangers rescuing strangers. People sacrificing themselves for others despite certain death. The Creator stared at those moments silently. Then the arc above Earth suddenly transmitted a powerful signal through the underground city. Instantly, the Creator's posture changed. Its voice became colder again. The process cannot be stopped. Another hologram appeared. A gigantic machine hidden inside the ark had activated. At its center formed an expanding sphere of black energy swallowing light itself. Carter realized what he was seeing. A controlled singularity. The beginning of another universe. The destruction of this one. The countdown shifted again. 1 hour 42 minutes and 18 seconds. Suddenly, alarms erupted throughout the underground city. A soldier shouted, "Massive energy spike detected worldwide." Satellite feeds appeared. Across Earth, every activated gate was opening fully. But now people could see what existed beyond them. Not armies, not ships. An endless ocean of collapsing stars and dying galaxies from the first universe preserved inside dimensional space. The gates were tearing reality apart. And then, something unexpected happened. The creator staggered slightly. His glowing eyes flickered. Lena noticed the cables connected to the throne pulsing violently. "Something's wrong," she whispered. The city voice responded immediately. "Core instability detected." The creator slowly turned toward the humans. And for the first time, fear appeared in its glowing eyes. Because far above Earth, inside the Ark, something else had awakened. The Ark trembled above Earth. Not from human weapons. Not from mechanical failure. From within. Across the skies of the planet, millions watched the gigantic black structure pulse violently like a dying heart. Entire sections of its rotating rings stopped moving. Crimson lights flickered across its surface. Then came the sound. A deep cosmic roar that echoed through the atmosphere itself. Every human on Earth heard it. Not through ears. Inside their minds. The creator looked upward toward the ceiling of the Antarctic city. His glowing eyes widened. "Impossible!" Dr. Elias Carter stepped forward. "What's happening?" The answer came slowly. "The prison has failed." Suddenly, every holographic screen in the underground city activated at once. Ancient emergency symbols flashed everywhere. The Ark's central abyss opened wider than ever before. And something began emerging from the darkness inside. At first, humanity thought it was another ship. Then astronomers realized the horrifying truth. It was alive. A colossal entity larger than continents slowly unfolded itself from within the Arkansas. Its body resembled living darkness surrounded by collapsing stars. Gigantic white eyes opened across its surface like galaxies burning in the void. The skies of Earth turned black around it. People across the world fell to their knees in terror. Even the fleets of the first civilization stopped moving. Frozen. Afraid. Lena stared at the holograms. "What is that?" The creator answered with a voice filled with something it had not felt in billions of years. "Thedevour." The name alone seemed to distort the air. Holographic records flooded the chamber. The truth of the first universe finally revealed itself. The first civilization did not merely flee entropy. They fled this creature. An ancient cosmic intelligence born during the final collapse of the first universe. It consumed dying realities, feeding on the energy released during universal death. World after world, galaxy after galaxy, and eventually, entire universes. The first civilization built the Ark not only to survive their dying cosmos, but to imprison the devourer outside reality itself. For billions of years the prison held. Until humanity activated the gates. Until the Ark awakened. Now the entity was free. And it was hungry. Above Earth, the devourer opened thousands of glowing white eyes across its endless body. Every eye looked toward the planet simultaneously. Then millions of people heard the same words inside their minds. "The third universe shall feed me." Cities instantly descended into madness. People screamed in the streets, clutching their heads as reality itself began breaking apart around them. Oceans rose unnaturally. Gravity fluctuated across continents. Entire regions vanished into black voids appearing randomly across the planet. The countdown on every screen accelerated uncontrollably. 21 minutes and 9 seconds. The creator turned toward Carter and Lena urgently. "The machine must be destroyed." "The universe generator?" Lena asked. "Yes." Carter looked stunned. "But if we destroy it, there's no escape from entropy." The creator stared silently for a moment, then said something no human expected. Maybe existence should end naturally. The chamber fell silent. After billions of years fighting death, surviving through logic and sacrifice, the ancient being had finally understood something humanity knew all along. Survival without meaning was not life. The creator extended one massive hand toward Lena. Your species taught us this. Suddenly, control pathways illuminated across the city floor, leading directly upward toward the Ark. The final route. A chance to stop the machine before the third universe began. Above Earth, the Devourer fully emerged now, wrapping itself around the Ark like living darkness consuming a star. Ancient fleets fired desperately at the entity. Entire ships vanished instantly, erased from existence. The creator looked toward the humans one last time. If the machine activates, all realities will fall. Lena nodded slowly. Then she and Carter entered a transport chamber ascending rapidly toward orbit through an ancient beam of white light. As Earth shrank beneath them, humanity's final moments unfolded below. People embracing families. Strangers helping one another despite certain extinction. Prayers rising from every corner of the world. Not because humanity believed it would survive, but because hope still existed even at the end. Inside the Ark, Lena and Carter finally reached the universe engine. It was beautiful, terrifying. A gigantic sphere of compressed darkness suspended inside endless rings of light. The birth of another reality seconds away. The countdown reached. 47 seconds. Carter looked at Lena. If we destroy this, there's no future. Lena's eyes filled with tears as she stared toward Earth glowing in darkness beyond the Ark. Maybe being alive was enough. The Devourer's roar shook the Ark violently. The Creator's fleets collapsed outside. Reality itself began tearing apart. Then Lena activated the overload sequence. The universe engine brightened beyond imagination. For one final moment, the Creator looked toward humanity from Antarctica and smiled. A real smile. Its first in billions of years. Then the machine exploded. Light consumed everything. The Ark shattered. The Devourer screamed across existence itself. Space, time, matter, all collapsed into pure white silence. And then, darkness. For what felt like eternity, nothing existed, until somewhere far away, a child opened their eyes beneath unfamiliar stars. And in that newborn universe, the first sound ever heard was human laughter.